It's the amazing Daniela Zimmer. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Gary?
Fine, thank you. Very good indeed. And tell people out there, what do you do and who you are?
Well, I'm, as you said, Daniela Zimmer. I come from Hamburg here in Germany,
Mhm.
and I've been working as manager for about 15, 16 years. Took a time off and afterwards decided that I wanted to take a new path, a new career.
That's
And I
right.
was looking for new, let's say, future career paths that would more, let's say, be fitting to the values that I think are very much mine.
Hmm.
It's not that as a manager I didn't follow that, but I was looking for something new. And I was working with international managers before in international management. So I was looking for something, let's say, an intercultural studies or further training.
Hmm.
And I researched online what could be really beneficial. And since I was in, as I said, in sales and I was in marketing, I was looking for something that would support that.
Right.
And so I came across the offer from your company, HR Assistant, and the IBTM program.
That's right. You did it. You passed with flying colors. How did you enjoy the program, the IBTM?
Very much so, very much so. I have to be honest, for everyone, I was a little bit, let's say, doubtful or say, oh, uneasy. Is that really what I wanted to do? Because in my studies, I had already, let's say, been exposed to cultural topics and also to international topics. So I was really thinking, and how far is that beneficial? And it was so great that you took the time beforehand and informed me really well what the program is going to be about. And you also provided names of graduates that I could contact and really see if that has a great fit. And I remember you saying, Gary, in the end, it will all work out. Don't stress about it. Do it, not from the marketing point of view, but just because you were so convinced about it. And because you were so convinced, I was also really convinced. And it did. And it was really the truth.
It's a big thing. It's a long 6 month process, right? You've got all these modules once a month. You've got your peer coaching, you got your group work and so on, and then your project and your final workshop, all that stuff. Looking back,
Mm-hmm.
after all that investment in time, in energy, in money and so on, was
Mm-hmm.
it worth it?
Yes, it was, definitely. What I particularly liked was that the content, that's maybe a misconception that I had before, but I try to explain. You get the content beforehand in the blended learning
Mhm.
sessions, like via Zoom, that's how we did it, and prepare for the presence, really for the modules. And at the beginning I thought, how's that working? What are we actually really doing with each other? And now I'm thinking, okay, we used the time that we spend together in groups. We really use that very well because the content, you can really get into that. You have all the time in the world to prepare yourself. The better you get prepared, the more you get out of the modules. That's my perception. And you're really practicing it. So it wasn't that theoretical at all, which I was, with coaching trainings and any training that you have, I think practicing it and really seeing it live and in action, also seeing your peers and the trainers live in action is really super beneficial. So I absolutely like the technique. I like that blended learning system behind it, or the idea behind it. And also the quality, I have to stress that like 3 times, the quality of our participants, of the peers is superb. Coming from really different backgrounds and not only from Germany, but also native speakers and people coming from different countries together. So it was a very intercultural experience. Not only the content was intercultural and you as a trainer being British, also our Susanna being half Turkish, but also participants were coming from different backgrounds. And I really, really enjoyed that. That has a lot to do with the success factor, I think.
Sure. So takeaways on a whole bunch of different levels.
Yes,
The content, the people, the transfer, the practice focus, the
exactly.
upfront flipped learning, your webinar stuff, your online virtual classroom, but then of course your time for yourself on the stage to focus on growing your skills as a trainer and moderator, right?
Yes, exactly. Well put. Yeah.
So that is exactly how it's meant to be, and I'm really pleased that that's what you take away from the whole thing. Of course, the big question is what happens next? What are you doing with all that newfound knowledge, all those newfound skills?
Well, thing is, I think we were the program that completed right before the lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
It was one week beforehand. So from that kind of point of view, it was a little bit unfortunate because we were all like really, you know, very motivated to get into action and really offer our classes and find customers. And of course, with that situation given, you have to take a different route. You have to take a different approach. And I realized that was also very much what I realized during the classes and during the modules, that I'm very, very practical
Mm-hmm.
and very much a person who's more, not very much like a trainer, but more as a facilitator. And that's what I realized. That was like a blended position between management and training.
Sure.
So the path, to answer your question, the path has been a little bit different than thought. One was because of the circumstances that we were facing. And the other thing is that I'm more of a facilitator, like a sales facilitator for intercultural, or let's say for international customers. And I positioned myself as a facilitator. Some people didn't know what it was, and it caught their attention. Said, "Oh, what is it? It's interesting. You make things easier. That's perfect. And how far do you make them easier? What's the result that you create?" And speaking in format terms, I'm very much a what-if person, always looking for the outcome first. But here, it's also really good if you apply that knowledge and say, all right, I'm helping customers to get to their goals or to reach their goals quicker.
Right.
It's not, I think it's like a blended thing between facilitation and training.
It's a very, up and coming thing. This hybrid of training and workshops that you talk about. Lovely. And it does suit your style very, very well, as you say. And you're based in Hamburg, right?
Yes, I am. Mm-hmm.
So in the new normal after COVID's passed over, left us all, looking into the future, is your client focus in the north of Germany, or will you be traveling around the world doing this?
No, it's not. No, it's not. I have one customer coming from the Netherlands, and I'm facilitating with a book project that he has. He's a debut author, and I'm facilitating that. I have another customer signed last week. She comes from Kyoto. That's in Japan, obviously, and she wants to internationalize her aroma products. She's what you call it, like a aroma space designer. I didn't even know that exists. So she comes from Japan, and she reached me via LinkedIn and said, okay, you have an intercultural background, you have that business background. Can you help me with internationalizing my product? So obviously my focus is, at the beginning, I thought it's going to be Hamburg, because I was imagining before Corona, that's all about being present with your customer. And for me, that would have been Hamburg and Kiel and Flensburg and Bremen, maybe Berlin, so more or less the north. But right now, I've become more virtual. The whole thing has become very much online driven. And that gives you great opportunity. And you also, with the blended learning, you also provided the stage for that, because we're passively and actively really using the platform and, I mean, the Zoom option.
Mm-hmm, sure.
We became more familiar with that, and that was really, really helpful.
So you're fit now for the future. You know what you want, what your clients want, how to deliver the whole thing. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Mm-hmm.
That sounds lovely. Thank you so much for your time today to talk to us about the program. I'm so pleased you enjoyed it. And as always, stay in touch. Thank you, and talk to you soon, Daniela.
My pleasure. Thank you, Gary.